Today we'll be replacing the instrument cluster bulbs on this PT Cruiser. You might not be able to see that bulb's out around 60 to 80, so we're just going to replace all of them. So before we begin this job, we want to go ahead and disconnect the battery, which is located underneath the air intake box cover here. To pull this off, if you look around the edge, you'll see different clips, such as this one here. Just push it and go around and find all the ones you can. Looks like we only have 2 on this vehicle, and it pivots upward. So we just need to push this out of the way, and we're going to disconnect the negative side of the battery, which in this particular case is on this side. And this is also a good opportunity to go ahead and check your air cleaner, make sure it doesn't look too dirty. So we're just going to, while we're at it, pull that out. Take a look at it. This one looks great, almost brand new. So the negative connection on the battery, we use a 10mm wrench. Just loosen up the nut on it. Then we can pull it off and set it off to the side somewhere where it's not going to end up making contact with the post. First thing we're going to do is come in here and remove the bezel over the whole center radio, whatever control thing here. First thing to do when doing that, we're going to take out the power window switch. So you're just going to reach up top, pull the top off. Use a screwdriver if you need, but the whole thing will just pop right off. So to remove the switch assembly, you're going to come to the back over here, find the clip, and pull up on that red tab you see in the middle of the screen, and then the switch will pull right off. And to remove the actual bezel, we're going to go ahead and pull all of these knobs off for the heater controls, and one screw that was underneath the power window switch. So that's already loosened up. Go ahead and take all the knobs off. And then from here, this panel should just pull right off. So that just pops off, and there you go. Next, we're going to pull this panel down here. It's just held in by a couple of clips on the top, so just reach your fingers in and pop it down. Just leave it hanging down like that. Then we can come over and pull out these 2 Phillips screws right here, and we'll be on our next step. So once the screws are out, this panel will just pop off. Again, it's held on by a few clips. It doesn't need to be totally removed. All we need to do is be able to just pull off this colored panel here. So we want to go around the edge of it and make sure that it's free to do so. Now we're ready to take out the Phillips screws holding the center part of the dash in. Pull on it too hard because there'll be some wires connected to it. Make sure we have the steering wheel tilted all the way down. I'm actually just going to go ahead and leave this right in here because, as you can see, we have that little piece of wiring harness that goes to the blinkers right in there. Just not going to bother unclipping it for now, since we don't have to. And from here, we're just going to have 4 screws that are around the edge of the instrument cluster. Down there, up there, and on the other side up there. So once we remove those, we can go ahead and pull the cluster out. Once you have all the screws out for the instrument cluster, just to make it a little easier to pull in and out, we're going to pry up the top of the dash and prop it up with something, whatever you want. Just use something that's not too hard, like a piece of metal that'll end up marring up the dash. Just grab this plastic water bottle here, pop that under, and that'll hold it for now. And from here, your instrument cluster will pull straight out. So here's the removed cluster. If we go down to the back, you can see each of these little black spots where the different bulbs are located. We brought this inside to go ahead and change the bulbs out. We went down to the local auto parts store and bought these Wagner 17037 bulbs. You can also buy a Sylvania part number 2721LL. I believe will fit as well. So to remove the bulbs, we're just going to go ahead and replace all of them. This is the only one that's currently out right here. But to remove them, we're just going to take and twist these little pieces here. The old bulb will pull out. And the new bulb will just go ahead and push right back in there. And then pop this in, twist it, and move on to each other one. All the bulbs in the instrument cluster have been replaced at this point. Only one of them was out, but we went ahead and replaced all of them because if one went, the others probably aren't far behind. And it's not the easiest job to get to this anyway, so might as well do them all at once. Now, reassembly is just going to basically be the reverse of removal. Before we get everything reassembled, we're just going to make sure that the new bulbs are working. So if we get the instrument cluster back into place, we're just going to pop it in, and then once it's in and lined up, we're going to go ahead and reconnect the battery real quick just to make sure that the bulbs are working. So as you can see, all of the instrument cluster is lit up now, so we're going to go ahead and reassemble everything and get it all back together. And this little cluster here just lines up with a few pins along the top, and there's a few snaps that pop into the dash as well. Also want to make sure when you're putting it on that the little button to reset the tripometer goes in the right spot as well. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and drop down this top panel on the dash here. But before we do that, we want to get these corner panel pieces here, get them back up in place, because you can see there's a little lip there that needs to sit underneath the top part, and that's just going to be easier to get in place first. So we'll pop those back in, make sure all the snaps go into place, and then get the 2 screws. And from this point we can go ahead and pull the spacer that we put in here out of the dash and let it back down. There's a few clips under here. We'll just need to kind of gently work back down in. I'm just kind of work along here, kind of pounding it down a little bit at a time. Missed it on camera, but when I was putting this panel back on here, there are actually two clips in the front here that I had to grab with this pick. So I just had to reach underneath and bent them slightly downwards so that when the dash moved down, they would pop into place. Not necessarily the right way to do it, but a lot easier than having to remove this whole panel. Now, you can see we already popped up this piece underneath the dash here. Now all we need to do is put the bezel for the radio and the knobs and everything back in place over here, pop the power window controls on, and we'll be all done with this job. Make sure to pop that red switch down. There we go. Now the job is all done. We'll go ahead and check our lights one more time. And we're all set.